Good afternoon. My name is Zakano Cummins, and I'll give a summary of the Gospel according to Luke and the book of Acts. Both accounts are written by Luke, a renowned physician. He's a man of great detail, and he's a man of science. The unique feature of the Gospel according to Luke is that he affirms Jesus' divinity, but more importantly, he places a real emphasis on Jesus' humanity. See Jesus as the Son of God and the Son of Man, demonstrating hypostatic union. Luke's story begins with an angel appearing to Zechariah and then to Mary, telling them both about the upcoming birth of their sons. Through Zechariah and Elizabeth would come John the Baptist, who would prepare the way for Jesus Christ. Then Mary would conceive a child, Jesus, through the unction of the Holy Spirit. Luke also gives a reader a glimpse of Jesus at the age of 12. At this age, Jesus is discussing theology with Jewish teachers of the law at the temple. 18 years later, his ministry is launched after Jesus is baptized by John the Baptist and tested in the wilderness. After the temptation in the wilderness, Jesus returned to Galilee to preach, teach, and heal. And during this time frame, he began gathering the 12 disciples. The 12 disciples would spend ample time with Jesus, learning from him through parables and seeing him work signs, miracles, and wonders. Jesus heals Peter's mother-in-law and many others. Jesus provides a miraculous catch of fish. Jesus heals a man with leprosy, and he heals a paralyzed man. Jesus eats with sinners, and he heals a man with withered hands. A withered hand, rather. Jesus presents the Beatitudes, and he provides teachings regarding loving your enemy, marriage, divorce, basically issues of the heart. Luke highlights prayer, joy, and worship repeatedly, showing Jesus' compassion for outsiders such as the poor, women, sinners, and Samaritans. The Gospel according to Luke climaxes with the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Now we have the book of Acts. Acts, I call it the Magna Carta of the New Testament. Acts is a historical account of the birth of the church and how the gospel spread throughout all nations. Acts continues the story from Jesus' ascension. You see, Judas is being replaced by Matthias. The Judas was we call him the 12th disciple in this instance, and he kills himself. He sells out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. And so now they want to replace him. And so they cast lots. But what the disciples didn't realize is that Jesus had a man in mind, the least likely candidate who would replace Judas. And this person is Saul, who's later converted into Paul. And so a paradigm shift happens with the outpouring of the Holy Spirit as prophesied by the prophet Joel. They all gathered in the upper room, and the Holy Spirit begins to pour out on all flesh, and thus the birth of the church is born. And that's a very exciting time, and still is. And the book of Acts traces Peter and early witnesses. It discusses the church expansion among the Jews and the Samaritans because Jesus came to the lost house of Israel first, so it goes to the Jews first, then Samaritans, and then it spreads throughout all nations. There's another paradigm shift when a pivotal inclusion of Gentiles began to take place. This happens between a divine interaction between Peter and Cornelius. And then another important paradigm shift takes place because Paul becomes the chosen vessel through which the gospel would spread throughout the Gentiles. Paul is a persecutor of the church, and he is killing and persecuting Christians. And on his way to Damascus to kill more, he has this radical conversion. And so Paul would face many challenges as he underwent missionary journeys, and he culminates his arrest and journey to Rome. So, throughout the book of Acts, we see many signs, miracles, and wonders occur with the birth of the church. And I pray that this summary has blessed you in some way, form, or fashion.